Hey everyone, it's Jamie. Happy Friday. My internet connection is not strong enough, according to Facebook, for me to do a live video today, but I don't want to get off my roll of doing a video a day. And yesterday I said I was going to talk about business today, so that's what I want to talk to you about briefly. If I have your permission, I'm going to share just a short story, and that is a little bit about my background. At one point, I had a tech startup. So it was a medical device disease management company. And we raised millions, and that was so that we could do some clinical trials and go through FDA clearance and, payroll and travel and research and all that sort of thing. And then, I've also, like many of you, been an employee and been faced with layoffs and not having my fate in my control. And then I've gone the brick and mortar route where, the startup costs were a couple $100,000 and the monthly overhead had a lot of zeros after it, and dealing with employees and payroll tax and the economy and the marketplace and all those sorts of things. So several years ago, I was approached by someone in network marketing, and they said, would you get on board? And I said, absolutely. You don't need to convince me, because from a business perspective, this business model is brilliant. It's a very low barrier to entry. It's not like a franchise or a brick and mortar or even a startup where you either have to go get investors or you have to get loans and you have to have a couple $100,000 to a couple $1,000,000 to get started, and you don't have overhead monthly of lots and lots and lots of zeros, whether you've got revenue coming in or not. So for a couple $1,000 you can get started, and for maybe a couple $100 a month for your overhead, you can keep going. So I said, absolutely, brilliant model, available to absolutely everybody who's interested in business, and you have flexible hours and you work from home, and it's great. But the company that I started with before was around nutrition. And while I'm still a product user and I still think the product's fantastic and the company's fantastic and I love the culture and the leadership, I learned a couple things. One is about myself. I don't like doing home parties, and I wasn't great at recruiting for home parties. And secondly, nutrition is a very emotional issue. There's a lot of backstory of why people have struggled with too much weight or too little weight, why they make the food choices they do, whether it's a social occasion, a family occasion. So there's just a lot going on around nutrition that for me made it a not sustainable conversation. And while my daughter and I probably personally enrolled about 60 people, we ultimately had zero retention rate. 100% of the people that started stopped because they didn't feel that it was a long-term solution for them, or whatever the reason was, they're just not still continuing. So then I was introduced to World Global Network, and that's brilliant because it's the same thing. It's very low barrier to entry. Unlike a traditional business, you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. It is a business, so you do make a business investment. The monthly overhead is incredibly low. In this case, it's only $59 a month. And for that, you get an awful lot of things, and there's incentive to stay on that consistently month after month for a full year. And therefore, the retention is over 80%, which is unheard of in network marketing. Now, it's still aligned with health and wellness, so it still very much speaks to me and my interests. And so, again, it's something that I was very, very interested in. So I just wanted to share that with you because that's why I got involved. I love the business model of network marketing. I'm aligned with health and wellness. That's something that's super important to me. And let's face it, who doesn't want extra cash each month? I've got a brick and mortar business that's costing a lot. And therefore, if I can look at multiple streams of revenue, real estate is always a good fallback, having rental property. And there's other ways to have passive income, but most professional, successful business people have multiple streams of income. And that's what I want for myself as well. So what's in it for you, and why I like talking to an awful lot of other people about this business that I'm involved in, and why I'm looking for leaders, is there's a level of people who have a comfort zone with spending, a couple $1,000 to get started. And that's a business investment that's a no-brainer for them. It's not difficult. It's not compromising what they're doing, and they see the purpose of it. Secondly, there is a group of people that a couple $1,000 as an initial investment is a stretch and it's difficult for them. But when you ask them a question, do you still want to be in this position 3 years from now? Where if I ask you to invest a couple $1,000 and you go, ooh, I don't know that I have that. I've been working for 15, 20, 30 years, but I don't know that I have a disposable couple $1,000. Do you still want to be in that position 2, 3, 5 years from now? Because frankly, that's a very uncomfortable position to be in. So again, there's a group of people that I speak to who are business people, who are medical people, who are fitness trainers, who have their own businesses, who are already successful, that the money is not a barrier. And the vision and perspective of where we're going with this is quite obvious, and they want to participate. And then there's the group that money is a little bit of an issue, but they understand that they don't want to stay stuck in that position forever. And therefore, they're willing to invest in themselves, because that's what this is about. This is not investing in a product or a company. This is investing in yourself and your belief that you have the ability to move this business forward. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about the business. The company's been around for 5 years. The product has only been available since September. We started with a beta version of the product. We're already on the second iteration, and by the end of the year, we'll have another iteration, which will be the first in the world non-invasive glucose monitor. I was reading in Bloomberg just the other day about a continuous glucose monitor that can be worn on an arm, and it's considered something that takes the place of finger pricks, but frankly, that one's still for type 1 diabetes people. And so there is a cannula and a needle that goes under the skin. So we're not talking about that. We are not a medical device. And that's, the next part that's absolutely brilliant about the strategy behind this company is, unlike my first business that did need to go through FDA clearance and was a medical device, the decision was made not to make this a medical device. And that does a couple of things. From a business standpoint, it's much quicker to market because you're not hobbled by business regulations or medical regulations. So there's no FDA requirement in this country and no equivalent requirement in any other country. And for people who simply want to be customers, you don't have to wait for insurance to pay for this. You can simply buy one wristband and you're done. So it opens the market wide up. And from a business standpoint, knowing that we can do business anywhere in the world, we already ship anywhere in the world. And unlike nutrition requirements or medical device requirements, we have no regulations to deal with whatsoever. This is simply a wellness band. Unlike a fitness band, this is a wellness band, and it's tracking all of your vitals. And then from a big business perspective, this is a data play. So we're collecting lots and lots and lots of data, which is all aggregate data. We're not giving away your heart rate or your blood pressure or your blood glucose. This is not going to come back to bite you in any way. But the fact that we can collect so much data speaks to me, because it means from a research perspective, we now have a giant cohort of numbers, or we will, as we continue collecting data. And that's going to help inform policy decisions and research decisions and medical decisions. And it's overall going to help everybody's health and wellness, which is incredibly exciting. So the company's goal is to sell 12 million units within the next 3 years and to be a $3 billion company by 2020. And we pre-sold almost 300,000 units of our second iteration of this wellness band. We are well on our way towards hitting 12 million units. And for those who, that's 300,000 people that have seen the value of getting on board with this. From the comfort of your home, you can get online with LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter or whatever your social media avenue of choice is, texting, phone calling, Skype, Zoom meetings, and you can do business anywhere in the world that you have connections. So It's brilliant. It's big. It's growing. It's in momentum. It just got started. We just opened our customer service office in the United States, within the last month. That's how new this is. That's what a fantastic timing this is for an opportunity for you. That's why I wanted to get involved. It's brilliant. It is a great solution for anyone who wants to earn some extra cash each month, and for professional network marketers who are already great at reaching out to people and sharing a vision. This is a tremendous vehicle, because for those of you who have your game at a whole higher level, um, our leaders on my team are making 450,000 a month, 650,000 a month, and we're not supposed to make any income claims. So I'm not saying that's typical, but they're doing, millions of dollars in US dollars of sales each week. And that's possible for the heavy hitters. And for those of us who, aren't in that league yet, well, there's no reason you can't be if that's what you aspire to be and you put in the work to do it. And for those who don't want to work 7 days a week, 20 hours a day, if you want an extra car payment, if you want to offset your grocery bill, if you want to offset your mortgage, if you want to save for college tuition or save for a fantastic family vacation, or whatever your particular goals are, then you can work for those. This is a long-term play. You don't go into business and expect to be revenue positive in a month. You expect break even to happen in a couple of years and to generate, positive cash flow maybe in 5 years. You don't open a restaurant expecting to close it in 3 months, having made your fortune, and then you can just kick back and retire. So network marketing is the same way. When you approach it like a business and you're in it for the long haul and you're continually improving your marketing and your skill set and your customer outreach, then you're going to be successful. So I really invite you to join me with World Global Network. At the very least, all you need to do is watch a 5-minute video to understand more about the product and the company. That's a 5-minute investment of your time that could potentially change your future and the legacy that you leave for yourself and for your kids and for your kids' kids, or for the charities that are important to you. And again, you can take this in a range from a little bit of cash, extra cash each month, to an incredible fortune each month, depending on how you work this business and what your long-term intention is for the business. So sorry it couldn't be a live video, but it was great to partner up with you today. Thank you for letting me share my story, a little bit about where I'm coming from, why I got involved, and how you could make this work for you. Take good care, and we'll talk again tomorrow, providing my internet connection is there. Bye.